Hello everyone and welcome to State of the Game for September 29th, 2016. We have new microphones.
We have new microphones.
I'm really hoping they're working. I guess we'll see in chat very quickly.
So chat, tell us how it goes. Hopefully the sound should be better.
Should be much better.
Nerf microphones.
Exactly.
Nerf microphones.
All right, so obviously the first week of the PTS has been like a bombard of information for the community and for us. And for Frederick, who we have here. For the people who haven't seen Frederick on the stream before, do you want to introduce yourself very quickly?
Yeah, I'm Frederick. I work with the guns and the gear sets and the weapon mods and a lot of the numbers behind the scenes.
Nice. All right, weapons guy.
I was going
to put weapons guy in your lower third.
Can we have like a tag down here?
Oh no, yeah, you do. Kevin, can you bring that up? It doesn't say.
But there's no weapons guy.
It doesn't say weapons guy, but I was going to, but
disappoint.
But if he's weapons guy, can I be 9th grade t-shirt guy?
9th grade t-shirt guy, and I'll be done nerd. All right. Okay.
Right.
All right. So first week of the PTS, we learned a lot.
Amazing.
Right?
It's been so great.
It's been crazy.
Talking to everybody, playing with everybody.
It's been huge, and just we've been watching obviously a lot of people on the stream. There's like I was watching Wids yesterday, and he's come up with some crazy stuff. There's a lot of new builds coming out, obviously. And I want to have this disclaimer throughout everything that we do. This is a work in progress.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, there's been a lot of threads, and it's great that you guys are engaged with the PTS so much that you're giving us feedback all the time. But remember, that feedback needs to be implemented and refined and all those sorts of things. And we'll go a little bit more into that information now because we have the next phase of the PTS starting
week 2.
Today.
We have week 2 starting, exactly. So
all right, so you have another bunch of patch notes, right? So we had the last patch notes thing so many so that we can't fit them on these cards.
Yeah. We actually have to.
We don't have that. We just have scrub paper.
Have to put them on normal paper then.
Exactly.
That's the problem because
we're up to 20 pages or something.
So the main patch notes are 20 pages document now, so that's fun. But I'm not gonna go through the main patch notes. What is happening with what we're calling week 2 now, which starts today? So we're updating the PTS with a bunch of changes. If you haven't seen it already, we actually published the patch notes on the forums.
Those are up now, right?
Yeah, they're out now. They were published about 30 minutes ago. So
great. I'll make sure to update the patch notes command. It's not updated yet, so if you type in patch notes now, you'll get the last revision. Soon after the stream, I'll update that to be the new ones.
Yeah. There is an update that is being deployed right now. So there is a maintenance still going on the PTS as of right now. It should last for about another 1 hour and a half ish. We said 4 hours. It might be a bit shorter depending on how long it takes to actually patch it.
The live servers should be back up now, though?
Yeah, the live servers should be back, but the PTS server is still down because we have a lot of changes to put in there. So what's going to happen with this update, on top of all the changes we're bringing that we're going to talk about, the most important thing, and a lot of people have been asking about that, we're wiping everything first. So all the characters that you worked on the PTS, I'm not talking about live here, so no panic, on the PTS, all the characters that you worked on, the fresh level 30 that you went through the world tier progression and everything, we're erasing all of that. Yes. The reason why we're doing that is because now we're actually going to transfer your characters from the live game to the PTS. So you're going to get all your characters from the 1.3 version that you can play on the live servers. You're going to get everything transferred to the PTS. For those of you who actually don't have characters on the live version or don't have level 30 characters on the live version, don't worry, you will still be able to create a directly level 30 character. So if you create a new character on the PTS, you're still going to get a fresh level 30 with purple gear. So you can still test 1.4 with a level 30 character, but you won't keep the level 30 character you had on week 1 of the PTS. That's the only thing. We're removing all of them.
Nice.
So you're getting your main character. The reason why we're doing that is because this week what we want, or for week 2, what we want to test, now we had a lot of data on progression through world tiers, going from fresh level 30 to actually world tier 4 and real endgame min-maxing. Now we want to focus more on world tier 4 and the real endgame part. So we are transferring your characters. We want to first test the whole part about the changes that we applied in 1.4, how apply retroactively on your characters because we've been talking about it and we have some more details on that. But we want to make sure that from a technical standpoint, it actually works correctly. We're not breaking anything. We are not. There's probably going to be weird situations with cases that we haven't anticipated. So that's why we're going to do that on the PTS. And also, we want you guys to focus on World Tier 4 and really try the real min-maxing with existing gear, with new gear, and all of that. So this is going to be closer to what would be the experience if we were to patch 1.4 right now on the live.
I was just going to say, it really kind of acts as a test bed for day one, right? With a new context of all the balancing we've done for 1.4.
Where's
I say we,
Hamish is here.
really, I'm here.
It's just not showing on the camera sometimes because
Exactly,
we're doing fancy things and changing cameras.
Don't worry about it. Yannick has a monologue to go through.
So what are we changing with PTS week 2? So we have patch notes. Go on the forums if you want all the details. I'm going to go through some of them, some of the changes we did. A lot of them are based on your feedback. So there are a lot of things that should ring a bell. In terms of game changes, gameplay, so small things or not so small, but player grenade damage that's now going to scale with the world tier you're in.
That's cool.
Right.
So that sounds small, but that's actually pretty good.
I think that's really good.
Yeah, it makes them usable. Their damage component, they've been used as status effects or for flushing out enemies purely at endgame, and now they're relevant as part of your damage rotation.
It's been really cool because when I've gone through the 1 to 30 experience, I've thrown a few grenades and they've actually killed stuff.
Stuff
I'm like,
died.
oh, that's
I
so
know.
cool. No, so it'd be cool to have that.
Because
back.
now they were just like scaled for 30, right?
Yes,
Not
and so
31,
they
32.
fell off as you went through the world tiers.
So now you're actually going to get 31, 32, 33 power level grenades, which is good.
Scaling.
The next one, and that's I think one that's going to make everybody very happy, we are finally nerfing the shotgunners. The NPC shotgunners.
The NPC shotgunners, all right.
Yes, we are nerfing them.
Too damn high.
So what are we nerfing? We are nerfing their damage fall-off and their accuracy that are being slightly reduced. So the idea is that they're going to have a bit less range and they're going to be less precise when they're shooting at you. Right?
Basically, the cone's going to spread further, so less pellets are going to hit you.
So basically, they're still going to be very powerful when they get close, but they're going to be a bit less powerful when they're in mid-range or long range. So they're not going to snipe you the way they used to.
We'll take feedback on it.
Well, I can already
see
see the feedback in Twitch chat, and there's just a lot of yay. So that's
so it's
the first
people
popular
seem to be
nerf.
happy.
it's a subtle change, but that should be significant enough. But tell us how it feels. We have fire alarm here, so I hope we're not going to die.
Maybe you're going to hit it. It's all right. I think they just test it. One day I'm going to say that, and it's going to actually be a fire, and I'll be like, it's fine, it's fine.
That's fine.
And
there's fire. This is fine. You know how it goes. One bad news, though, that's something we actually didn't put in the patch notes, but a lot of you noticed it. We added in week 1, we actually added underground checkpoints. We are removing them. We're removing them because it's not working. That's something we wanted to try. But the problem was that when you would die, you would respawn directly at the entrance of the room you were in, which means most of the time you would respawn directly in the middle of the fight, so you would die again.
Often that would happen.
It was kind of broken. We wanted to try a quick fix like that.
Yeah,
It didn't work.
but the environment wasn't really built for calm areas and checkpointing in that way.
Yeah. Again, it might be something that we look at for the future, but like the solution that we have for it right now.
Yeah.
That's
that's definitely something that we will bring back when we have a better implementation. But the quick fix we wanted to put for 1.4 is not working, so we're removing it. So no checkpoints for underground. So we are back to how it was before. Other change that it's kind of interesting. Player health will now progressively regenerate to full when you're out of combat.
Right.
So not the free segments anymore. It's actually going to.
Yeah. Basically, it made things like using med packs and first aid mandatory, but outside of combat, which is really uninteresting. And so when you're out of combat, you just get to reset to full again. It makes the game a lot smoother.
Yeah, which is good.
Sorry, just to go back for a second, a lot of people were saying, the checkpoints worked well for them in the underground. There may be some people who had good experiences. I myself did as well when I was playing underground yesterday, and some people were saying, why not, in multi-phase versions have it so the checkpoints at the start of each phase. Maybe, again, we will look at what the best solution is and find out what we can do.
And that's exactly the type of feedback that we're likely going to be part of the final solution. We just don't have the opportunity to do that now for this patch.
Right now, again, we were looking at a quick fix. The implementation that we made of it is not good enough because even though it can work in a lot of cases it also doesn't work or it doesn't provide a good experience for the player. So we're removing the quick fix and we look at a better one that's going to take more time. So that's why it's not going to be, probably not going to be in 1.4. So yeah, sorry guys, that was a try, it didn't work. All right, in terms of stats, so that's stuff that
Let's go.
You can talk about. Armor damage mitigation cap changed from 60% to 70%.
It was a test we did. I
Yeah.
think you'll find it really difficult to reach the cap, but
It's pretty hard to reach already.
Yeah, but you should be able to keep stacking that armor because now you're making a trade-off for it. So it's okay to have the cap that high. You're not going to reach it without without the sacrifices that it should have.
So what's that, around 13,000?
I can't remember that
well, we have
conversion
11
at tier 4.
It's 11,565.
Yeah, because again,
for-
and you bring a good point, which is
I'm
at
gonna
tier
guess around
4,
13,000.
because the damage mitigation result changes depending on the world tier you're in.
Yeah.
So it does not require the same amount of armor depending on which world tier.
Yeah, so you can go down and help your friend on the lower tier, and you're going to see the effects of your armor, which otherwise would just bump into that cap. So.
Absolutely. That is exactly what test environment is for. Nice work, thank you. But yeah, that's the point with the PTS. Again, everything you have to assume everything on the PTS is work in progress and subject to change. So don't go on the PTS assuming this is 1.4. This is a work in progress version of 1.4, and we are working on the final version with you guys. Another thing that was a bit too OP in a way, the health and kill bonus on gear that is being reduced by 50%.
It's a bit easy. So the new kill times means that kill events happen much more frequently, and so health on kill became a lot more powerful, and therefore we have to scale the amount you can stack on each gear piece down. We were seeing some very hard to kill builds.
The unkillable builds with
so
predatory and...
we're still gonna keep it there on the gear set, but the rolled bonuses on loose high ends.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Okay, so I'm skipping some of it. I see a lot of people asking when is 1.4 coming out. We are not going to give you a date, guys. If you're here for a date, you're not going to get more of a date than what you had in the past, which is still, we're aiming for October, but based on all the feedback we're getting and all that, we'll see how that goes. That's what the PTS
We want to make
is
it as
here.
good as we can.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
What about the t-shirts? We need bigger t-shirts. I like my t-shirt.
I don't know, man. My skinny nerd arms seem to fit this okay.
Yeah, I mean the sleeves are a bit short, I
Yeah.
have to say,
Yeah.
and that shows my my very
I'm glad we don't have Drew
non,
here.
my
getting his guns out.
non-Drew arms.
I think Drew.
Drew's in chat.
Drew is in chat. I think
Drew's
he
in
broke
chat.
his when he flexed.
I know.
Yeah.
Damn it, Drew.
All right.
Let's keep going. There's a lot, so let's keep going.
Yeah.
Bunch of gear set changes. Okay, I'm gonna go through them quickly. Frederick, stop me if you want to talk about it. Tactician's Authority, the 2-piece is now 10% skill haste, and the 3-piece is now 10% skill power.
Yeah, and skill haste changed as well, so that it's 10% means that it's 10% shorter between your skills, and it's a nice 2-piece for people to be able to dip into from other builds.
Yeah. Lone Star 3 pieces is now 8% damage bonus for LMG and shotgun. So it's not a flat bonus, it's a percentage.
Because the flat bonus just simply doesn't scale with the world tiers, whereas a percentage does.
Yeah.
Would this also work better across different weapons within that weapon type as well?
No, so firearms, this just literally increases the base damage by a certain percentage.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, before
That's cool.
crits or whatever.
And if people are wondering, 8%, this is basically equivalent to the bonus you would get at level 30 with the flat bonus we were providing, right?
It's somewhere in that region, depending on which world tier you're comparing to.
Yeah, of course, but no.
Yeah.
So with 31, 32,
level 30.
33, the bonus is going to be equivalent to what you were getting.
We'll see as well, based on the next week's feedback, if it's over or underpowered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are asking about SMGs. We're going to get to that, guys. Predator's Mark. So 2-piece is now 10% reload speed, which is nice. 3-piece it's the same. It's 8% damage bonus on assault rifle and SMG.
But it's SMG, not pistol damage.
So what used to be
you're
assault
right.
rifle pistol?
Yeah,
What was
you're
it,
right.
800, 700, I think?
When the set was implemented, giving out SMG damage would have been really toxic because you had a strong SMG meta. But now, hopefully, everything's balanced enough so that that's a fun set to have.
So you could have a SMG primary, assault rifle secondary? Okay, that's cool.
It synergizes with applying those Predator's marks.
Yeah, and also another change to Predator, which is with the 4-piece. Because the bleed now is 50% of the total amount damage.
Right, so you were, when played correctly, like as in applying the bleed and then leaving that target to bleed, that damage multiplication was just a little bit too high for the new meta. Normally you tend to overwrite the bleed when you shoot another 10
Yeah.
bullets in, so you wouldn't see how really powerful that was. But in some edge cases, it turned out really, really powerful.
Yeah.
So I mean, the application of this, people will still notice the bleed being really powerful, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because
I did-
that whole 100%, you'd probably only often get 50% of it.
We'll see
Anyway,
how it works out. Predator was quickly becoming quite popular.
Really popular. Yes. Again, and this
Sorry.
is why the PTS is really good, because we get to test these things.
I want to donate to get Yannick to the gym for a few months. You don't need to donate. I'm actually.
We have a
Yeah.
gym downstairs.
I actually registered or got a membership to
Don't
a
worry
gym.
about it. Like, you're going to,
Very important information for you guys.
Yannick's going to show up one week and he's going to be
So
gigantic.
I'm going to be the
It's
new
gonna be
Drew
ridiculous.
soon.
And then we have the 2 sets that are returning to the meta.
So Frederick is like, okay, get back to work.
Yeah,
Yes,
let's
sir.
get back to work.
All right, all right. Okay. What was it? Were you Reclaimer?
Reclaimer, yeah. So,
Yes. So we're bringing it back.
So Reclaimer does the same thing, but it follows the rules of the game. It triggers your consumable cooldowns, and it follows the rules of them, which means that it's a remote control for people's cooldowns, and it means that you as a group won't run out, but it doesn't allow you to stack a bunch of silly stuff that shouldn't be able to stack, and chain it with multiple Reclaimers in a group, and all of those things that used to sort of break that experience.
Cool.
So it's still going to work pretty
Looking
much
forward
the
to seeing.
same, but just the way it should have worked to begin
Sure, if you will.
with. In a way.
And I guess we'll see when the,
Yeah, I mean,
that'll be cool.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then the big one, and I've seen a lot of people were
Yeah, the
talking about it in the chat.
What is the Banshee?
Blind is gone.
Awesome.
Blind is dead. Long live Banshee.
So we figured that we have a meta now where maybe we have 10, 13, whatever functioning good gear sets instead of a few.
Yeah.
And this is the time where we could look at one and make it specialized. And blind really wasn't working. It was dropping grenades where on the one place where you knew that someone had already died, etc. So we couldn't make it very good or very interesting. So we're trying out this dark zone focused gear set. I think some people will find it interesting, others will ignore it, and that's fine.
That's cool.
There's other builds for them.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. So that's something interesting to have a gear set that is focused on PvP. We've seen a lot of people talking about Banshee is fucked up. Try it and tell us if you think it is.
Oh, absolutely.
But the thing is, it's something we're trying. It's also feedback we actually got in the past. People were asking for PvP focused gear set. We're gonna try. I've seen a lot of people saying it doesn't make sense to have a PvP gear set dropping in PvE activity. That
And
might be something we could.
Maybe that's something
Yeah.
we do. I don't know.
Yeah.
Economy side of and loot side isn't my thing, but
Yeah. But could be something we would look at as well.
Yeah.
So just give us your feedback, guys. Just don't be mad about it. If you don't like it, just tell us.
and people are asking about the blind rifle.
Yeah.
And we're not doing new content in this patch, but there's certainly that rifle is coming out at some point. But
Yeah.
since it's synergized with the old blind set, we have to rework it some, make it interesting.
Figure out where it kind of fits in,
Yeah.
in that whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
The idea of having a weapon that works in
Absolutely.
as a catalyst to make the set even better.
I'd like that.
That's cool, but
Yeah.
not right now.
So just one thing for those of you who actually didn't read the patch notes and are like, what the fuck are they talking about? What's Banshee? So Banshee. So again, it's replacing blind, which means that when you're going to log in, all the blind pieces you had are actually going to turn into Banshee
Yes.
pieces. So we're not removing your blind pieces, we're just replacing them by Banshee. So the bonus of Banshee, 2 pieces plus 20% Dark Zone currency gained.
Right, and that I get a lot of questions why that's good. There's nothing to buy for the Dark Zone currency, but there is. You're going to be able to
Yeah.
buy sealed caches for it. There's going to be
Yeah.
other stock at the vendors, etc.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a good farming
It's
currency.
gonna be, yeah, it's gonna be good. 3 pieces plus 10% damage to target out of cover.
Right, this is the same bonus as on LMGs. We see that it's a very useful stat in the Dark Zone.
Yeah, in PvP because people don't really use.
But also in the
cover as
Dark Zone,
much
you have a
and-
lot of patrols that
Yeah.
and a lot of non-fixed combat situations, so you have a lot more moving targets.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's cool. It would be interesting to see if it forces players to be more tactical
Yeah.
with their use of cover.
Yeah.
Which is still something that, in honesty, we've been kind of yet to see in that PvP.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting.
And then the 4-piece bonus, so that's where it gets interesting. So for the first time, we actually we bring a gear set that has changing bonus depending on situation.
And the first one that relies on the rogue mechanic.
And it relies on the rogue mechanic. So the 4-piece bonus, while rogue, when you're rogue, all ammo is completely refilled every 30 seconds.
because you can't run to the
Yeah,
stashes
exactly.
and the safe houses
Yeah.
and replenish.
Exactly. And damage taken from non-rogue players is reduced by 10%.
Right. So it's not granting them more direct power. It's making manhunts and last stands something that can happen.
And then while not rogue, so as we said, it's changing depending on if you're rogue or not rogue. And when you're not rogue, so the first bonus, so let's say damage to rogue player is increased by 10%.
Actually,
I go with this one and then I'll explain the other one. So damage to rogue players is increased by 10% when you're actually not rogue, which kind of either negates the damage mitigation that they get from Banshee, or otherwise if they don't have
or
Banshee,
just turns you into a rogue hunter.
You can be a rogue hunter. And then there's a second bonus. So the reason why I'm talking about this one second, movement speed is increased by 20%. This is going to be on the PTS, but just so you guys know, we're going to change this bonus because for technical reasons and performance reasons, this is not something we can do.
The movement speed didn't work in some parts of the Dark Zone.
So you can play with it in the PTS, but know that the movement speed is going to go and we're going to replace it with something else. What? Tell us. Tell us what you'd like to see.
Suggestions. Give us feedback. It's a new gear set. It's the first time we're trying it out. So obviously it's a little bit behind the curve in terms of feedback. So, please write on the forums. We'll maybe start a thread about it. And
let us know what you think would be a good idea. I mean, it's again, this is the cool thing about the PTS. You can try it out, and the community. We have a really cool knowledge base with the community.
Absolutely.
So I see a lot of people commenting on the 20%. 20% movement speed. It's a very good bonus, but again, it's not going to stay. So don't freak out too much about it. We're going to have to change it to something else. So just give a suggestion on what you think it should be.
Sorry, someone was asking, Miller the Jellyfish, asking why would movement speed be removed? That's silly. It is completely a technical thing on our side.
It's a technical limitation.
It can't happen.
Because you know how the game is seamless because you're actually loading the environment as you move in the world. And so if you move faster, you actually need to load faster,
which becomes
an issue. So what would happen is you would run 20% faster and you would end up in a part of the map that has just not loaded yet.
Well, or hit our anti-streaming slowdowns and stuff like that. No use talking about it on PC, on the PTS. It's going to work fine, but we take feedback on how to change it.
You guys know how much you love that walk into the base of operations?
That would be like
Imagine that in the open world.
That all the time. It's not cool.
Okay, so that's it for gear sets. Again, if you want all the details, it's on the patch notes on the forums. So now let's talk about weapons.
Because apparently I'm the weapon guy.
So let's talk about weapons with the weapon guy. So first few things. You have, I don't know if it's you, but updated the DPS calculation formula. Kind of.
Yeah, there's another iteration going on the PTS today. It's more similar to what's on live. But it doesn't, you can't jack up your DPS by stacking accuracy, so it counts all headshots. It's ideal DPS, as if everything you hit was a headshot. That I think it's better, but it's not super great because sometimes it encourages people that aren't so versed in the DPS to stack more headshot damage than maybe other stats. So we're going to have another look at it, but it's better than what it used to be.
Cool.
It's better. It's something different. Give us your feedback. Tell us what you think about it, and we'll probably keep working on it and iterating based on what we see. Another thing that's related to weapons, and it's weapons, but good change. Weapon recalibration. When you recalibrate a weapon now, you will actually have 3 additional choices of weapon talents. So instead of having 3 weapon talents plus the one you initially had, you will have 6 weapon talents plus the one you initially had.
So it'll be way easier to
pick from in the recalibration.
So the idea is that you should be able eventually, hopefully, you should get the talent you're looking for before running out of choice. That's a good one.
Yep.
Now changes to weapons.
Right.
So weapon damages.
The overarching changes, as we saw in the first week of PTS, LMG meta growing strong. So LMGs have been brought down partially through reducing their bonus, the damage to target out of cover, and partially by adjusting some of the individual weapons. SMGs have been resurrected into the meta, hopefully. They're not reaching exactly the same amount of critical strike damage as they do on live, but they have had their damage brought back up a little bit.
That's cool.
We want to We will not have them as super spiky as they were on live, but still have them definitely competitive. So please try it out, make some crit builds, see how it works out.
Nice. And you do have some changes for hip fire coming as well.
Right, so there was a lot of, when we rolled all of the accuracy stats into one, they gave a lot of hip fire accuracy. So basically your hip firing became really dominant, and we saw a lot of that in the dark zone, but also when farming PvE, and so accuracy no longer affects hip fire, because each weapon has an ideal tweak for how it behaves in hip fire built into it, and I don't want to get to that point where you're hip firing laser guns.
Okay, so hip firing should feel different in this.
Hip firing is going to feel very different in this.
Okay, cool. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
So all those of you who were asking for us to like buff SMG because they've been nerfed too much or whatever, this is an answer in a way. This is trying to like bring it back a bit. They had to be nerfed compared to 1.3, especially with the new
the MP7 especially.
And I think it could be interesting to note that some people might say that we changed numbers. Why didn't we get to this number at once? It's only maths, right? But you have to realize all of the gear and all of the crit chances and everything were moving at the same time for us when we were working on this. And so it's hard to know exactly where we're going to land. And so we're going to do this step by step. And you'll notice that the changes are slightly smaller now. So we're honing in on that balance for the
really
weapons.
Cool.
So just one mention, guys, just because I see it's always the same when we announce a change. It's like rip SMG, rip whatever, try it. Just try it.
Exactly.
Don't judge it on numbers. Just try it on the PTS if you can. If you have the opportunity to play on the PTS, try it and then tell us what you think. And maybe you will think it's not good, and then we're happy to hear that. Just don't judge on numbers because that's not accurate enough. So just really try it and then tell us if you really think it's not good. Okay, all right. So LMG, SMG are the two biggest changes.
Adjustments,
adjustments, Okay.
Cool.
I am keeping an eye on the M1A. Don't worry, guys. We'll see how it works.
There's a lot of RIP M1A, so we'll see for that one.
The SRS is nice now, though. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting off topic, but
But I'd just like to mention that the fact that you have to specialize a little bit when you're modding a weapon means that the handling of a weapon matters a lot. So an accurate weapon you can stack on damage mods, whereas before you got both damage and handling when modding a weapon. And that's why you see that differentiation between those guns that handle really well versus the ones that have slightly higher damage. It's because it really makes a difference when you mod them.
Exactly.
Okay. A few other changes to weapon talents, gear talents in before nerf. Ferocious and responsive. Both get their damage bonus reduced to 10% from 15%. So that's something like we've tried to actually have fixed bonus and not ranging bonuses anymore. So a lot of them we actually went with the highest value you could get. With these, we're actually going to lower it a bit.
That's good though. It removes that RNG from it.
The goal with all of these talents is to make sure that when something drops, all of the talents that are on there can be interesting in some context, rather than you only looking for those like 3 brutal, deadly, fierce trinity. And so sometimes we have to reduce the numbers to make sure that they're interesting, all of them choices. And that actually means that more gear that you get is useful. And it's really important to remember that.
Absolutely.
Nice.
And then the other one, in terms of gear talents, Reckless, the bonus damage is reduced from 15% to 8%. So that's the
15% is a enormous DPS increase in the current meta, and it became a must pick, even though you were dying faster. So it's contributing to.
And Savage, going from 10% to 7% damage bonus.
10% critical strike is a lot in.
Exactly.
The chance, not the
and again,
bonus.
people, I would like to reiterate that these things are on the PTS. These are things that are constantly shifting, and we'll find the right values over time. So it's again, people saying rip everything. No, we will hone in on what feels best. Right. So it's
exactly. Again,
stick with us and give us your feedback. This is the thing. I know that it sounds scary, but play it, try it out. People are already enjoying 1.4 a lot, so we can make that even more. So yes, feedback please, based on experiences, not on
exactly.
those paper numbers.
Okay, so I'm going to try to go quite quick because we're already...
Yeah, sorry,
We've
there's gonna be
talked
a
a
long
lot.
one already.
I made 2 pages
sorry.
out of 5. So, okay, all right.
Skim.
Skills, all right. Skills. So very quickly, first aid. So we said with the first week of PTS, we said defibrillator would actually revive players from dead state instead of just down state. We're removing that. It's not working.
It's too much.
It's too much. It's something we wanted to try. It was fun, but it was, and a lot of you actually said it, it's just way too OP, it's just way too uncontrollable.
Trivialized a lot of encounters
Yeah.
and led to death trains. And
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we're removing it. So we are back to what defibrillator was in the past, which is, I mean, it's still going to be a very good group heal, and it's also going to revive players, but just from down state, not dead state.
Yeah, okay. People seem happy about that. That's good.
That's cool. I think we all agree this was good to try, and we found out it's just not working. Ballistic shield. So first, disclaimer: we know there are bugs with ballistic shield. We're working on them. Okay, so we're actually fixing some of them, and yeah, it's going to be a constant work in progress. But in terms of balancing, so we're actually boosting the shield quite a bit because we are boosting the health of the shield, the base health of the shield, by 67%. Which is already big.
And I can tell you that even though that's not on the current PTS, we're doing a lot of work when it comes to holding threat and how the way the threat works in the game and making sure that the shield works as you'd expect it in a group. So stick around for that.
Yeah. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of changes on that. That's going to be a week 3 more kind of thing. But yeah, right now the first pass is we are boosting the ballistic shield, and then hopefully in the following PTS we will have good changes to threat mechanics. So we know that a lot of you guys will be asking for threat mechanics. It's coming. But yeah, so ballistic shield, so base health boosted by 67%, and also we reduced the damage taken by the shield from NPCs by 50%.
Yeah, we didn't want to make it overpowered in the dark zone, but we wanted to make sure that you could use it on hard modes, and basically that's it.
That's really cool. I'm looking forward to trying out that ballistic shield.
Yeah.
It's gonna be awesome.
So yeah, it's gonna be much more stronger against NPCs. Okay, another bunch of changes. Seeker Mine, Smart Cover, it's all on the patch notes. Support station, it's interesting when playing solo. If you are downed while your station is actually active, you will be able to revive yourself, which is...
Again, something we're trying out. We don't want too many resurrection mechanics, but this is one that might feel very good because that might be unpicked in solo otherwise.
Absolutely. And then big change for signature skills. So we are implementing what we called, even though that's not a very accurate name, a shared cooldown mechanic. So the idea is that now if I play in a group and I trigger Tactical Link, and Tactical Link lasts for 12 seconds, when this link actually runs out, for 30 seconds, my teammates and I will actually be immune to another effect of Tactical Link.
Yeah.
So if Frederick triggers it after mine runs out, it's not going to have any effect.
Okay, but you could still trigger it.
You could still trigger
Right,
it.
So communication is going to be important.
You can still trigger it, but it's not going to have any effect. But if it triggers another signature skill that is not the one I just triggered, but is not Tactical Link, then it's going to work. It's
Anybody who remembers old heroism and bloodlust in World of Warcraft will
Yeah,
recognize
exactly.
exhaustion.
Yeah, you had like a 5-minute bloodlust
Exactly.
internal cooldown. Before
So
you
that should avoid, teams just like, just running signature skill over and over again. And also we kind of increase the duration of all the signature skills. So we change them from whatever they were to 10 seconds in week 1. Now we actually bring it to 12 seconds. So it's a small buff, but yeah, we're making them last a bit longer. So that's going to be a bit more interesting. Okay, other changes, high-value targets. We had a big pass on high-value targets contract to normalize the cost because we know that the costs were kind of messy, especially now that we had a new contract. So it's a bit normalized. What that means is that a lot of costs are actually reduced a bit. It's not big, it's just a few credits or a few intels, but a lot of them are actually a bit cheaper now. We worked also on the difficulty of the daily and some of the hardest contracts actually were a bit too hard. We changed the encounters a bit to make them a bit more approachable. And also we worked on the scalability with group size. So all the daily ones will now scale properly with group size. The weekly ones don't scale. The weekly ones are always for groups of 4.
They're a group challenge,
Yeah, they're a group challenge. So you could probably still do the first weekly one solo if you're actually geared properly. I guess.
I-
Or you can
I
try.
mean-
I'm pretty sure.
I'm not going to put it past our community to solo anything.
No, that's
Yeah.
true. There'll always be.
But I'm sure there are people that are going to challenge themselves and try, and yeah, it's probably doable for some of them. But yeah, the idea is dailies, they scale to group size, weeklies, they are group content.
Cool.
All right, we're almost there, guys. We're almost there. One important change. So in the first week, you could get gear sets directly from World Tier 1. We are removing gear sets from World Tier 1 in the World Tier system. So what that means is that when you're fresh level 30 and you go to the World Tier system, when you're in World Tier 1, you will only get high-end items.
Yeah, because you're coming from purples and blues, and then the new thing is the high ends, and then at World Tier 2, then the new things is gear sets, right? So
Exactly.
I like that.
So that's the idea of bringing you a bit more gradually to towards the real World Tier 4 endgame. So for those of you who already have characters that are going to be in World Tier 4, it's not going to change anything. It's going to change for those that are actually in the progression through World Tiers. But yeah, so only high ends from World Tier 1 and then gear sets in World Tier 2. You can still get gear sets in World Tier 1 if you are lucky enough to actually drop an item of a higher gear score.
yeah, that's a rare occurrence, but it can happen
Yeah,
when
you
you're
know,
farming.
you know how you could.
The 182.
Yeah, you could get a 182 by chance in World Tier 1. If that happens, this 182 may be a gear set. May also be a high end, but it may be a gear set. But that's the only way you will get gear sets. Otherwise, you will have to wait for World Tier 2. We changed the drops on Dark Zone named NPCs. That was the feedback we had a lot. I mean, the Dark Zone was a bit crazy in terms of drops. We are changing it a bit. What we're doing is just basically the Dark Zone named NPCs used to drop one piece of high-end or gear set, one extra piece of gear set, and one chance for a gear mod. Now you're going to have one piece of high-end or gear set and one guaranteed mod. So we are basically removing one drop from Dark Zone
There's
bosses.
still a lot, though.
And you can still drop from all the other NPCs and everything. So, but obviously that was a bit overkill.
Yeah, but PvE will still retain.
PvE
At
doesn't
this
change.
stage, the PvE zones will have the same drop
Doesn't
rates
change.
for what they have right now.
And
And
again,
we're tuning by looking at the rate that people are going through the tiers. We're tuning all of this loop, right?
and yeah, to all those that were discussing on this big rumor
Yeah.
that we actually boosted drop rates for the PTS and that we're going to nerf them for 1.4. We did not boost anything. What you have on PTS is what we intend to put on 1.4.
Yeah.
So
That's kind of my bad. I was only ever trying to say that these things are subject to change.
And they are subject to change, like the ones we
Exactly.
just discussed here
Exactly.
for the named in the dark zone.
yeah.
But yes, we definitely want to give you guys a lot of loot.
A cool addition, the vendors will now actually sell sealed caches for currencies. So that's a cool thing. So now you will be able to actually spend all the money you're getting. So no matter if it's normal currency, if it's Dark Zone funds, if it's Phoenix credits, all these currencies, you will actually have the option to spend it to buy sealed caches that will give you items.
Nice. Nice to have a
So
currency sync. That's
There's
cool.
going to be a way to actually, as you farm, you're going to get more currency. You can actually spend it for something now.
Named weapon changes they're asking about.
Yeah.
I can
You can talk about it. It's not in
No,
week 2, but
It's not in week 2, but we're basically removing the level restriction on named weapons. They're going to be available in all world tiers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
At all.
yeah, exactly. People have
item
been
levels.
asking about that scaling.
Yep.
Yes, you will be able to get a 229 Midas.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
you'll be able to get a 229
Yeah.
Caduceus,
Yeah.
although it might look a little bit
The
different.
Caduceus might need some adjustment, but the Hunger Hog is actually really fun at 229.
I've always rated Meticulous on LMGs. I think it's a nice, nice talent. Okay, so people are happy about that.
I see people saying pay to win regarding the sealed caches. It's it's in-game currency, right?
Yeah, it's in-game
We're
currency.
not asking
It's a
for your
place.
money.
It's a place to spend that Dark Zone currency or the other currencies.
Or if you have a
Yeah,
lot of,
yeah.
like, does it work for Phoenix credits as well?
Yeah.
Or- so every,
Yeah,
okay.
it's all currencies. So yeah,
Great.
Phoenix credits, normal credits, Dark Zone currency, all of this.
Oh, that's a good question. Do you have to re-farm named weapons? Or will the ones
I mean,
that have
everything that's in the
scale-
game that you own will retain its current item level, save for the gear set item level adjustment.
Okay,
So if you have a 160,
All right, but if I have a 182 Midas, it's not
it's
magically
going to be a
229.
182 Midas.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
So guys, just again, one disclaimer to make sure that we understand each other. the change to name weapons is not coming with this PTS update. Okay.
No, but it's something we've heard from the
Yeah.
feedback and that we're changing.
And we are changing it. It's probably going to be in the next PTS update. It's going to be a 1.4 thing, but don't expect it in this week version. Okay.
Nice. So showstopper, it's 229 already. Just saying.
Yeah. What else do we have? I'm trying to go quickly through that. Oh, one change to performance mods. So that was one of the feedback we had for a lot of people in terms of UI. Performance mods, it's cool, but it's confusing because you see all the slots, you don't know what is what. So what we're doing there is we're actually changing the UI a bit. So now when you have performance mods and normal mods, or performance mod slots and normal mod slots, your normal mod slots will show on the left of your gear icon, and the performance mod slots will show on the right of your gear icon. So there's going to be a separation. And also, we're actually adding an icon that shows what is a performance mod and what is a normal mod. So,
good. Okay.
So it
has some little display issues in the current version of the PTS, but you'll get it anyway.
Cool. There is currently a display issue that you will see when you will log in, which is with existing gear that we're transferring to 1.4. You will actually, instead of having that, you may see your normal mod slot on the left, but are duplicated on the right. So you don't get more slots, it's just visually you will see twice your normal mods. That's a UI bug. We have it fixed already, but it's not in this PTS build, so don't mind the UI bug. But on all new items that you're going to drop, you're going to have this left normal mode, right performance mode.
Yep.
What else? So then there's a bunch of bug fixing with it. The 4-piece talent final measure that will now diffuse the APC mortar shells.
But on the other hand, it's on 15 seconds.
Yeah. But
15 seconds for all of them or just for the APC?
No, just it's a 15-second cooldown, which is the timer for mortar bombardments is like 9 seconds. You'll be able to catch every other one, but there's also other grenades that you might want to catch in the between. 4 seconds was just a little bit strong once you add the ability to snatch mortars. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Okay, I was trying to read question, but it went too fast. I didn't see it.
Yeah, it's
sorry. So we fixed. Sorry, Bullet King was back. We fixed it. So there's still going to be open world.
He's still going to be there.
Respawns. So the Bullet King is not dead, but the Bullet King is not going to be farmable again like it was. So,
people were like, "Oh my God, it's happening again."
That happened. He's going to be a constant pain in our butts. But no, so we fixed a bug where you could force the respawn of a named NPC by just killing the named, not killing the ads, going to a safe house, going out, named respawned. Fixed.
Okay, cool.
Now, as soon as you kill the named, you trigger the cooldown.
Cool.
So hopefully that should fix that.
I think chat wants to have a moment of silence.
For the Bullet King?
Yeah.
He already has a mural.
That's true, okay.
Yeah, that's true. Bunch of bug fixes for skills, and again, there's still more coming. We're working on a lot of them.
Yes.
All the ones that you guys are reporting.
I think it's interesting to note in general, these are partly reactions and partly bug fixes that have taken a long time to fix, but we've seen some really positive metas evolve in this past week, and there have been some outliers like the LMGs, but we've seen a lot of new viable builds, a lot of breadth in builds, and I'm super happy with the feedback we're getting so far.
Yeah, nice. Super good. People asking what's the cooldown. So it's 24 hours the cooldown for open world bosses now. So of course, we know that a lot of people have been asking for a cooldown that would be more similar to the Dark Zone and everything. That's not the direction we want to take. Keep giving us your feedback, but as far as we're concerned, open world should be a good side activity while you're doing other stuff. But if open world becomes the one thing where you can optimize your farming routes and everything, then nobody's going to go to the Dark Zone anymore. So we need to keep balance between all the activities.
Like that 24 hours is always something that we can look at, but we need to.
Can you make it 23? Yeah, whatever.
Okay, sure.
Maybe
that's going to be weird.
12 hours, things that are reasonable like that. Yeah, definitely. We are not going to make it 10 minutes. That's just definitely not the direction we're taking.
Also, when I've thought about it, like during the average play session, to be able to go around every zone and clear everything, and then get into that position where you want them to be respawning, that's going to be difficult. I don't think, personally, I don't think a lot of people are going to come up against that problem anyway. But again, we can look at that and see how that evolves.
People asking, is it 24 hours like based on server or like based on specific server hours or when you kill it? No, it's when you kill it. When you kill it, you trigger a cooldown of 24 hours. Okay, what else do I have? One that was asked a lot by the community actually. Smart cover is not going to be destroyed by enemy grenades anymore.
Okay, cool.
So that's good.
Nice.
Except EMP grenades. EMP grenades can still
They're
destroy
explicitly
smart
made to
They
counter
are.
skills.
cover. Yeah, that's what they're here for.
Yeah. I see a question a lot why the enemy support stations repair their armor. It's because armor is just a part of the effective health of an enemy, and that makes the group composition of normal enemies function like a group composition of veterans or elites, and so they actually work the same across the difficulty levels.
Yeah.
That's why that needed to happen.
Definitely, and it also kind of encourages gameplay of prioritizing
Targets higher
targets,
priority,
right?
absolutely.
It's often you'll see in groups in 1.3 where the healing stations aren't doing too much. You have just like 100 like healing handbags on the ground, and like now you're going to have to
You're going to have to pick them off.
Yeah, which is cool.
absolutely.
Yeah. I saw another question that I missed earlier. I missed your name though, but somebody's asking when it comes to buying sealed caches with currency, is the cost going to increase every time I buy one? No, it's a fixed cost. It's always going to be the same cost, so you can buy a bunch of them. Okay, what else do we have? We fixed UI bugs like the third bonus of high-end weapon mods that will not show when you actually equip the mod. This is fixed. And one that was very annoying, it's a pure technical thing, but the settings that would reset to default every time you would restart the game, this is fixed.
Yeah, every time I log in, my accuracy is like.
There's much more. I mean, you can see. I just you see. There's
The highlights.
More. I just highlighted some of it, but there's more. So go on the patch notes on the forums, have a look at them. And there should be two versions again. There should be two versions of the patch notes. So there is the patch note week 2, which are basically what have we changed between PTS week 1 and PTS week 2. So all the changes are relative to PTS week 1. And then there's the global PTS 1.4 patch notes, which are all the changes between live version and PTS week 2. So this is relative to the live version.
Yeah, it's complicated.
It's complicated.
It's confusing.
But we're trying to keep it, because we want you guys to be able to compare between each PTS week, but we also want you guys to be able to compare to what is available on the live game. So the global 1.4 patch notes is basically what you will get when we release the update, compared to what is available on live. All the PTS ones are just from one PTS phase to the other, what have we changed.
Nice. All right.
Right.
You done yet? All right, good. Thank you.
That's it.
I'm done.
I have my
Have
pieces
some
of
water.
paper.
I'm going to have a drink now.
This is important too. It's I'm going to try and go through it very, very quickly, but a lot of people have questions about what's that experience going to be like when I log in 1.4 the first time? What's my gear going to look like? All of those sorts of things. Well, for one, you'll be able to see it for the people on the PTS today.
Be able to try
that
it today,
conversion's happening when people's characters come over. But just at a basic level, let's go through these points. And thanks, Quentin, for giving me those details. But Quentin says the majority of balancing changes affecting gear will be retroactive. All right, so that's cool. And he says also, for example, if you had a max roll stamina on your chest or whatever stat you have, you will still have the new max roll for stamina. So it's not going to be re-rolled randomly. No, it will match the relative success of that roll in 1.3, and then it'll come over in 1.4.
But the amounts have shifted.
Exactly.
Yep.
So the changes to the core attributes across gear score will be retroactive. Also, guaranteed base stats. So those will be added in to your new gear, as long as it's over gear score 182.
Or 182 and over, rather.
Exactly. And there's been changes on a lot of the min-max values that a bonus can roll on gear, which is part of what we talked about before. But in general, your gear should look very similar in terms of its successful rolls in 1.4. But to be a little bit more accurate on some of the smaller changes, some weapon talents have been removed from the game. Restored is gone. Stable will only roll on items less than level 30. So that's still something that you'll have in the leveling game, but not post 30. Yeah. And steady is gone. All right.
Steady, stable, which one?
Steady is gone. Stable's only rolling below level 30. Performance mod slots. Okay, here's the thing. So performance on your 1.3 gear, you won't have performance mod slots.
No. But they'll keep their skill bonuses.
You still have your skill bonuses. Adjusted for 1.4 values. But you will only find performance mod slots on gear dropped in 1.4.
Right. which you should get pretty fast.
Again, not a, you won't be underpowered, but yes, you will find those new things pretty quickly. Weapon mods completely re-rolled.
Yeah.
So again, we've kind of said before, make sure you stock up on those if you want to, have the best chance of getting more of them. Performance mods re-rolled as well. In addition to that, scavenging has been removed completely, like we said. But here's what will happen if you have scavenging on any of your pieces of equipment. On your mask, it'll be replaced by bleed resistance. On knee pads and purple gear mods, it'll be replaced by threat reduction. And on knee pads, perceptive talent. Hang on, let me just read what Quentin wrote. Perceptive talent on knee pad will not roll on post 1.4 knee pads. If you have it on existing knee pads, it will just increase your gold find bonus.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. All right, so that's, again, I was kind of...
It's tricky. We have to make sure that you can walk out of your base of operations on 1.4 patch day and start farming and be of the right power level. But we also want to make sure that we don't leave legacy gear in the game that just makes you not want to gain any new gear. So it's a balance.
Yeah. So, TLDR, the biggest changes that you will experience are for your performance and
gear sets.
And mods. Yeah, weapon mods and gear sets.
But the gear sets, obviously...
The gear set changes, which we've
hammered.
Yeah, you guys understand about that. I also took some notes yesterday during the stream. There were some good questions, and there's a very similar types of questions that you guys have right now. But since we have Frederick here, I wanted to go over that. Linus12 asked, what about legacy SMGs? So pre 1.4 SMGs?
Pre 1.3 SMGs even, perhaps. Or
sure, because they have different critical stuff on them. What happens to those SMGs?
So SMGs are just being scaled up and down. They're not getting a big change to what their bonus is or anything like that. So you should still feel their relative power level.
Okay. Yeah. And just if you missed it earlier, the nerf that had been applied to SMGs, they're being buffed a little bit back.
Yeah, so we're tuning in to find a place for them.
But so that also applies retroactively to existing SMGs, right?
Wherever we land after this PTS process is what's going to happen to your gun. Like that 20% nerf is now irrelevant because of PTS2.
We already talked about the blind assault rifle. Lucifer's Milk asked, are assault rifles getting better with update 1.4? I know we kind of have been going over other weapon families right now.
I mean, a little bit behind the scenes, the assault rifle is basically the weapon family that we balanced the NPCs around and the time to kill around, and then all of the other things are relative to the effectiveness of an assault rifle. I think the feedback currently from the current PTS is that assault rifles are in a pretty good space. We're going to look at the armor penetration in PvP in some future patch, but they're generally in a really good place.
That's cool. The other one I have here, Epi702, why the SVD nerf?
So the SVD is, like I said before, it's super stable. It's the most stable and accurate marksman rifles that we have in the game, which means that you can stack on damage mods on them, now that damage mods don't also carry performance enhancing stuff, which means that once you fully mod a weapon, you're going to see that still be pretty good. The other thing is that when you have things that proc on headshot or things where you need to be really precise, or if you're taking out healing stations or whatever you're doing, that is a real utility rifle, right? So it's about a role for each gun, and it's about how the new mod system fits into it.
Yeah, it's. I'm looking for one for my Sentry support build.
Right, exactly.
That's going to be nice. And the last one I have, AGD4 Life asked, and a lot of people have said it in chat as well, will burst fire weapons get buffed?
Yes.
Yes. Cool. All right. Done. No, okay, so how? How are they going to get buffed?
So first we have to realize that with lower health enemies and with content with non-veteran enemies being relevant for gaining loot, bursting down an enemy is a real thing now, right? Like bursting them down in just a few shots or in a few bursts. And so burst fires will get brought up. You'll probably never see them on the same DPS level, because that's about sustained DPS as other guns, but they'll be very good for killing low health enemies, shotgunners, normals, that type of stuff.
Yes.
So they're gonna have higher base damage than the other weapons in their class. The MP5 is gonna be the most damaging SMG per bullet.
Nice. Someone's saying the FAL is actually pretty good right now.
The FAL is pretty good right now, which is why you see it not getting an adjustment in the patch, because it was always good if you were shooting at things that died reasonably quickly. but things didn't in 1.3.
Nice. Before we head off, because we're way over time, I'm sure.
There was something I wanted to comment quickly because that's interesting. Somebody said, I wish there was more variety of drops because I seem to always drop weapons. This is something we're tweaking, actually. I didn't mention it, but it's in the patch notes. It's something we're tweaking to try to bring a better balance there because we are fully aware of that one.
Yeah, there was a propensity for weapons in the first PTS, and that's going to be more balanced now.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, I interrupted.
No, this one's for Gabe because Gabe, our community manager, was saying on the forums right now, we're getting a lot of duplicate posts, which is great. We want your involvement and feedback definitely on the forums. But Gabe is kind of like, guys, please, if you could join discussions that already exist, that's even better.
Yeah.
So be nice to Gabe.
Yeah, no, it makes it easier for us to actually read your feedback. If you try to, before you start a thread on the forums, just do a quick search and see if somebody already started a similar one. If he did, just comment and participate to this discussion rather than starting a new one, because it makes everything much more complicated for us to have to go through all the discussions and trying to identify and like gather and merge everything. So as we have now more people on the PTS, try to keep it organized on the forums. That makes it so much easier for us, and therefore so much your feedback much more efficient and much more likely to be seen if you try to keep it organized. One mention I wanted to give you, or one thing I wanted to tell you on the PTS, because a lot of people have been complaining about issues, connectivity issues with the PTS and all of that. There used to be an issue with Delta errors.
Oh yeah.
Couple of days ago, I think. We fixed it. We fixed a bunch of Delta errors issue that were relative to the PTS itself. So this has been fixed. And also, yes, there are a lot of waiting queues because a lot of people are trying to log into the PTS. We have limited resources. So the capacity is not the capacity we would get on the live game.
Yes.
But this is something we've heard, and seeing the success of the PTS, we're actually looking at increasing the capacity of the PTS.
I'm just really happy that it's popular. I want that feedback. I want people playing it.
Yeah, so I was saying, what about 1,000 people server queues? Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
So we are looking at it. No promise here. We're seeing what we can do because I mean there's a case of like to actually get the resources for the PTS, we have to take them from somewhere else. Yeah. So we don't want to put the rest of the game at risk. But yeah, there should be room for improvement. So we're looking at that.
Exactly. Before we head off, because we definitely have to run. I just want to reiterate the fact that you guys being vocal and involved in this whole PTS process is huge for us. I was actually going to ask you, Frederick, earlier if that's changed like the way that you guys have been working on this.
Totally. We can be collaborating. We can react to feedback. Just the fact that I can be playing one day with you guys and make a change the next day, and knowing that you guys are going to be able to see it this week is just an enormous change to how we work with the game.
Nice. All right.
How long until the servers are live for the PTS? I guess 20, 30 minutes. I don't know. We didn't get an update here, but normally the plan was to bring them back at 1 p.m. CEST, which is in about 30 minutes.
Right.
So unless something happened, which could be the case, so as soon as we're back at our desk, we'll see if something happened. We'll make sure to put a message out there. But otherwise, they should be coming back very soon.
Nice. All right, we'll leave it there for today. We're going to get ready to get back on the PTS.
Right. Well, I'll be playing this afternoon, so people should come manhunt me.
Yeah, me too, man. I'm gonna jump off. We're gonna take the stream down for a bit. I'll be back this afternoon streaming, and then we'll be ready to go again. All right.
Okay.
All right. Thanks everyone for coming by today. See you next time.
Thank you, guys. See you.
Bye.